want to look into some of the best watches that have been spotted in films, because it's a lot of the time a watch can be spotted in a film, it can be spotted in a series, and the watch ends up booming up. It ends up getting posted everywhere. Sales go through the roof. Like, it does actually make a lot of difference, right? Yeah. So we talked about James Bond in the quiz earlier. Where's the Omegas?
Yeah.
Speedmaster is his...
The Seamaster.
Oh, the Seamaster.
The Seamaster is the one.
And the other day, actually, was that a James Bond premiere that he was wearing it? He was wearing a suit, and he was wearing the Neptune swatch.
Oh, yeah, he was. That is a Speedmaster, that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's based on a Speedmaster, obviously, isn't it?
Yeah, he was wearing the Neptune.
Yeah. So, I think...
I don't think it was for James Bond, but he was wearing it out.
I didn't know if it was a new James Bond coming out, to be honest, but yeah.
No, not yet.
They've not picked the new James Bond yet, have they?
No, they're not picked.
Oh, yeah,
exactly. Daniel Craig's not going to be the next James Bond.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope everyone's seen it, because otherwise just...
Well, no, we haven't. Everyone knew that anyway.
It's old news now, I guess.
Everyone knew before the film came out it was his last film. There's also a limited edition James Bond Omega Seamaster that's come out. The 007 Titanium.
We got offered one actually recently on Instagram. But
oh, really?
Yeah, someone actually messaged us and offered us one, but I just don't... I tried to give them an offer, but I think it was too low, because I don't really know where to price them.
Yeah, it's not really something we see all the time.
It's not our cup of tea, really. We
don't really handle too many Omegas.
Yeah, and that was released.
I think we should start getting into them though.
Like, obviously we do the swatch Omegas. Obviously, we're one of the only people who do it. Like, a lot of people do it, but we've actually got pretty much every single one in stock, like all the time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe we should get into them Omegas, because they are really nice watches.
I like the full gold one.
Oh, that's sick. The
rose one.
I actually love that
really
watch.
Nice. Really nice watch.
I feel like they sort of, the demand for them isn't as high, but I think doing stuff like this, collabing with Swatch, people may have said it cheapened the brand, but I don't think it has. No. I think if anything, it's just put the exposure out more. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a collab again. It was
smart. It was a very smart marketing approach to marketing, because they brought a lot of traction to the brand. Yeah. Like, really, no one really was talking too much about Omega. Now everyone's going mad for these swatches. So it's like...
It's good for Swatch as well, obviously. I think it was definitely such a good collaboration, to be honest. And there are rumours that they're doing another collaboration.
Yeah,
and
with the Seamaster.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, this collaboration is based on the solar system and the planets.
Yeah.
And I think the rumour is for the next collaboration they're going to do, I don't know how true it is, it's going to be based on like all the different seas in the world.
The oceans.
Like all different oceans. Yeah. That's what it's going to be based on, and then it's going to be based on the Seamaster rather than the Speedmaster.
Yeah, exactly. Looking forward to seeing what they do with them.
Yeah.
But it's not always been Omegas for James Bond. Back before their deal, which was since 1995, we've always seen a Seamaster on Daniel Craig's wrist.
Yeah.
But back in 1962, in the film Dr. No, when Sean Connery was playing the role, he wore a Rolex Submariner Ref 6538.
Okay.
And this is, again, what I was saying, how films can have a big impact on the watch market and whatnot. This film solidified this particular Submariner in the watch industry, and in 2018, an example of that exact same particular model, so the same reference, sold at auction for over $1 million, which is the most expensive Rolex Submariner ever sold.
Wow.
And that's partly off the back of the release in the film.
Yeah.
So when was the film released?
1962.
1962. Yeah, so it's vintage again. It's going to be a vintage model, so we'd have to pop that one up on the screen. That's how.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, just obviously it shows the influence of film, doesn't it? Because that's when the watch will get. Especially back then, we didn't have Instagram and all that kind of stuff where you're seeing watches every day or on TikTok and Instagram. Back then, I guess that's probably the only times you're going to see a watch is going to reach a really wide audience. If that makes sense.
Very true.
I mean? Yeah.
Or like a newspaper or something.
Yeah.
Like, there was no form of telecommunications at all, was there? It's like literally just...
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Another example of a Omega spotted in the film, which is, again, you can see the directors actually thought about this here, is Tom Hanks wears the Speedmaster in Apollo 13, and the Speedmaster was the watch worn by all of the astronauts by Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong when they did the moon landing. So it shows that they actually are thinking about it, and it shows that the Speedmaster does have a correlation to the films. Yeah, and that's something that obviously I don't know what to say.
No, it is very interesting that. So, like you said, it was a thought out process in the film. Because the moon landing is the biggest thing since, do you know what I mean? In astronomy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it shows that directors actually think about it. And the reason why I bring that up as well is because there's an example here.
I've heard some interesting stories about it being a fake moon landing.
Yeah, there are.
There are some conspiracies out there.
Buzz Aldrin, he got married the other day.
Oh, yeah, he did.
You saw that?
So a 50-year-old.
Yeah, well, I think she was 63 and he's 93 or something. Like one of the oldest people to ever get married. 93 years old. Absolute legend.
Good from him.
What a legend.
Yeah.
Good man.
She feel like old gold she was as well. I see a photo of
her. He's forgotten about sometimes as well, isn't he? Because Neil Armstrong's, as soon as you think of moon landing, you think Neil Armstrong, but
he was.
But Buzz Aldrin was literally standing right behind him.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring up Apollo 13 doing well with actually linking the watch, and if you're a watch, sort of nerd expert or whatever, and you're watching that film, you're gonna actually, you're gonna think,
wow,
they've got that moon watch as well, obviously. Not the Swatch one. They've actually got
the moon proper Speedmaster, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's clean.
Which is nice.
It looks like the moon Swatch.
So that's probably why they've done that, because it's linked to all the Apollo 13 and they're linked to the moon, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I bring that up is because in the film Argo, Ben Affleck wears a deep sea sea dweller, and the film's based in 1979.
Yeah,
the sea dweller model wasn't released till 2008.
Really?
So obviously this is an example where they haven't thought about it. They've just put whatever watch looks good. They put a sea dweller on his wrist. The film was based in 1979. So then watch enthusiasts again have come out and just
slewed them.
Like absolutely, gone mental, because they're like, how can he be wearing a watch that comes out in 30 years' time?
Yeah. I guess you never know. They might have done that on purpose, though. Like, it might have been a bit of a publicity stunt. You never know. Maybe not about that.
I think just assume
you never know.
If you're not into watches, though, you just think, let's get a Rolex on his wrist, and you don't. But
Rolex's marketing is like so out of this world.
Yeah, true. Now there's a written article.
I mean, you never know. They think everything's so thought through.
There is written articles on it now, so I guess maybe.
So you never know.
You could look at it.
They'd have to get Rolex's.
Probably a bit far fetched, but
like to publicising them in their
films.
Of course.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
And also, the film is nothing to do with sea, and it's a sea dweller, so it's like they just
maybe they got character like diving.
I don't think so. That's what they said. It doesn't look like he did. And a watch that we seem to bring up almost every week, like every time we bring it up earlier in this episode already.
Yeah,
we brought up last week. Was obviously the Skull Tourbillon.
Oh, Skull Tourbillon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Day of the Dead.
Your favourite
that Jonah Hill wears,
and it was a fake,
and it was a replica.
Yep, it wasn't a real one.
Now, when do you think
budget was a bit tight on that film?
Was it Don't Look Up?
Yeah, Don't Look Up. When do you think Richard Mille sort of got popular? Like, when would you say the watches started to really be high in demand and people were paying ridiculous prices?
We had this conversation yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, which is why I bring it up, because
then that's a bit of a hard one, because like
about 2017, 2018, I went with, just because I feel like there wasn't even much hype around the watch market in itself until COVID. It's where watches now, so many people are interested in watches. The market is it's probably like quadrupled in size since pre-COVID.
Yeah,
but nobody really knew what Richard Mille was like at all. It's quite a new brand. When was it founded? Have you got it written down?
No, I thought it was like 2010 or something.
It's
quite recent, so it's not like it's not considered. That's the thing. Even though it's more expensive than on average, we'll say it's more expensive than Patek and AP probably on average.
Yeah.
Because of that market value. It's not part of like the big three or whatever, or it's not. It doesn't have history behind it.
I think he is making the right moves to be one of those.
Yeah, it's just a marketing.
He is. I'd say now in this day and age, like when you think of a big watch, you think of an RM or a Patek or a big Rolex. Do you know what I mean?
It's just the marketing. It's the best marketing ever, because it's like having a Richard Mille puts you into a different category. Like, it's just a conversation starter. It puts you in. It just gets you into rooms, like gets you through doors, like it just puts you.
It's very obvious when someone's wearing one as well. You can spot it from almost because of that rubber strap.
They have a very distinctive look,
and it's just a bulky sort of face.
But that's how they've marketed it. They made it so that it just makes, if you own one, it just puts you into a different like social, like category.
Yeah. The reason I say that, obviously, Don't Look Up's a recent film, 2021. And RMs are very popular by the time this come out. But Jason Statham wears an RM 011 in the film Parker, which came out in 2013. And also Sylvester Stallone wears an RM 032 in Expendables 3, which came out in 2014. So they were still appearing in films. They were still appearing like on on the big stage.
Like JP said, it puts you in that category though. So they've always been in that category from when they was
from when they started,
founded. You know what I mean?
Do you think a lot of the time when these watches do appear in films, it is a lot of product placement?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
do you think every time though? Because obviously with the James Bond, it's obvious. That's a collaboration. They've made a 007 watch, Seamaster. But for example, in that film Argo, where I've just said where he's wearing a Sea Dweller, and the Sea Dweller wasn't actually out yet. Do you think Rolex signed off on that and it was a pre-agreed, or is it just...
It's probably one of those things. It's probably just a prop.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It could be a fake watch for all we know.
Yeah. But even if it's a fake watch, it's still putting their brand out there more, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like also like you got to put it into this perspective. It makes the character that bit more exclusive or interesting.
Yeah, I think
because he's got a Rolex.
Yeah, I think like Jonah Hill. I think like Jonah Hill, they just wanted to give him like the biggest watch, and they may. I don't know. They might have approached RM. I don't know. I doubt that was RM.
But that's done really well for RM.
Yeah,
because the amount of articles on that is ridiculous. When
I was looking into the president's son, right? In that film.
Yeah. When I was looking into just watches that were spotted in films and by celebrities and whatnot, there is so many articles on Jonah Hill wearing a fake one, and because it's fake, it's got a lot more traction. And the fact that you can tell it's fake by just a few shots in the film shows that it wasn't obviously the best fake. Yeah, because it can be spotted
straight away.
It can be spotted when it's like on a small screen.
Because it's like the case.
Like even when you have to pixelate it to zoom it in. Do you know what I mean? But that does show that if it is product placement with these RMs in the 2013 film Parker and 2014 Expendables 3, it shows that RM have been trying to do this for a while. They've been doing it correctly for a while. Yeah, this exclusivity and
100%
putting themselves out there, getting themselves to celebrities. Another time that we've seen they
pride themselves. They pride themselves on being the thinnest and the lightest. Well, not the thinnest, but the lightest watch brand there is. Richard Mille's like the titanium, not the titanium, the carbon one, weighs absolutely nothing. The 6702 that's all carbon. Even the new Ferrari edition release, I can't remember what the reference is, but it's obviously...
was it that TPT?
Oh, the really
thin one. It's called TPT, yeah, TPT.
It's like 1.2 millimeters in thickness.
It's almost like their own material. Like they're
12 millimeters.
They're just the first people to do a lot of stuff. And some people say they're over-engineered, but I guess the thing is, with the marketing, you have to back it up. You have to have something impressive. You know, it's basically like... They basically got like an F1 engine in the watch. Like, it's crazy, to be fair.
They're saying that they're the best, and they're making that statement very clear.
So just make a statement like, look what we can do, sort of thing. So we can ask these high prices, and we can market how we market, and we can back it up. Do you know what I mean? Because of how well their watches are engineered, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best engineered watch then?
It's got to be that.
It's got to be RMs, because people, it's got to be RMs in general. Like people say they're over-engineered.
What about
Jacob and Co?
What about Jacob and Co? What about Jacob and Co? Because the amount of components.
I don't think it's a comparison. Like, you know what I mean?
Aesthetically wise, maybe for you, but
I mean, which one's the more complicated? Which one's the best horology? I'm saying.
Oh right, RM. I think more complicated. Really? Yeah, they're more complicated. Yeah, surely they've got to be, haven't they?
I don't think so.
Really? Oh yeah, the piano and all that. Actually, yeah.
Scarface.
It's one with a roulette. You can play roulette.
And the roulette.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, maybe.
There's a Bugatti Chiron one which has an engine in the. Like, it's got to be.
Yeah, maybe then. All right. Maybe.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's a good battle between them, I think.
Yeah, definitely something that we could always.
RM just have that style, that one style, but where Jacob and Co, they go very.
Yeah. It's more
exquisite to like.
Imagine losing big money on roulette to a watch. Just playing roulette on the watch. Just not betting on roulette with the watch.
I don't know if I trust it to play roulette on there.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather just go to a casino. Yeah. So another really iconic film scene where a Rolex is worn, a yellow gold bimetal Datejust, so nothing too crazy, is in the Wolf of Wall Street scene. Fred, I need you to recreate it, mate. Matthew McConaughey, DiCaprio. Great scene. That's the one.
So he's got Datejust on that scene.
He's wearing Matthew McConaughey.
It's 16023, right?
Yeah. I think it's a 16013 he's wearing in this one.
Oh yeah, sorry. Bimetal, 36 mil.
So that's like.
Oh no, he is wearing a 41 mil. Christian Bale. You're correct. You're right. Yeah.
Is it a more modern one then, or is it old one?
Yeah,
it must be a more modern one then, right?
Are you sure?
I don't know. I think I have a 16.
Maybe your facts are wrong.
But that's that's Christian Bale's one. I think it is a. Either way, he's
wearing a bimetal Datejust.
It's a yellow gold bimetal Datejust.
Later on in that film, Leonardo or Jordan Belfort, stands up and he's talking into the mic to the whole room.
Yeah, and
even throws his day into the crowd, doesn't he?
Oh
yeah. $40,000 fucking watch on, and he just dashes it into the crowd. Yeah, fucking legend.
And what else is he wearing? An all gold? Is he wearing an all gold tag in that film as well? I think at some point. Oh, I don't know. I think it was or Amigos.
He does wear an Amigo. You're right.
It's not a tag. Yeah, it's like all gold Amigo. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's got a black face. And another iconic film scene where they're wearing a Rolex. Alec Baldwin wears a full yellow gold day date, and he does actually talk about the watch. He says, "You see this watch? This watch I'm wearing costs more than your car." In an argument.
Yeah.
Yellow gold day date. How much are they valued at?
30,000 around that mark.
Yeah, probably a bit more. Like, obviously, listed 32.5 now.
Yeah, so. Depends if you got a new one. It could be a 36 mil as well. You never know.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah,
but that's for a 40 mil. Obviously, the list is 32.5, and they probably sell for around that, maybe a tad over.
So as long as the guy has a car under 32.5 grand, he's not wrong.
Yeah, it's very true.
A very, very nice watch again. Now, we talked about watches that have been spotted in films. A variety of them have had an impact on that watch doing well. Like you could say the Seamaster. I think everyone sort of knows it because of James Bond. You could say obviously that Rolex Submariner that sold for over $1 million at auction. That could relate back to that. How about watches that have collab with films? Talked about it briefly earlier. Scarface and Jacob & Co.
Yeah.
They've made an opera house watch that plays music out of it. Plays music from
it plays the theme tune.
It plays the theme tune. Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy, to be fair. It's cool, isn't it?
And that's when you say, when we was talking about Richard Mille and the horology, like what actually goes into that watch to make it a playing
to be able to do that. To be able to do it. Yeah. It's like a piano in a watch.
Yeah.
And obviously a piano is like big, like massive, and it's got that, it's like a mini piano in a watch. It is pretty. It is crazy.
So it'll pop up on screen for you guys to see, and there's the exact same watch, but a Godfather version.
Yeah.
As well, that's out there, and that plays
Godfather's theme tune.
Godfather's theme tune, which is obviously an iconic theme tune. I mean, if you have the money,
why fucking not?
I mean, if you've got the money and you're like a big fan of the series or Scarface the film, it's like, I can understand the appeal for it.
Yeah, $300,000 I think they are retailing for.
Jesus.
How easy is it to get hold of? It's quite easy to get hold of Jacob & Co. if you have money, right? If you have money and you walk in, can you pick one up? If you inquire, they can bring it in. It's not like RM where you need to be sort of a known face.
Producer Michael is obviously really big on YouTube, and he likes Jacob & Co. And I've seen a video of him where he goes in there, and I think the guy ends up doing him, he's like, look, I want to buy a Jacob & Co. for all my staff. And it's actually Jacob that he's dealing with in New York, I believe, at the boutique there, and he's actually doing him like a bulk deal. He's like, giving them loads of watches, and they're actually doing a deal, like a bulk deal. It's quite interesting, to be fair, because it's like, I think because producer Michael, never
see that with Rolex.
Because people like producer Michael is like just loves Jacob & Co. and he's like one of their big customers
as well. He's got like over 1 million subscribers,
and he's got a big influence on the watch game because he's got a big following, and most of his videos do revolve around watches. Maybe we should speak about his collection one day on air. I think that'd be good, because he does have a lot of watches, and he's got a good relationship with Jacob & Co. obviously as well.
Because we talked about Andrew Tate with the Bugatti Chiron watch last week, and that there is a TikTok clip of him literally saying, "Oh, I've got $1 million I want to spend today," and he just goes in the shop and just buys it for like $400,000, I think it is. Yeah. And the guy's like, "Oh, that was easy, like just a quick sale." So it just shows you can just walk in and get them.
Yeah, of course.
If you've got the money at your disposal, obviously.
I think it's just a different market, but you can. I know you can definitely like walk into, for example, if you walked into that shop in New York, there'd be loads of watches that you'd be able to just buy. I think
Jacob & Co. watches is not just with watches. That's one of the only things that are valued at that price, which you can just do. You can't just go and, like, even cars nowadays, you can't even just go and buy a car.
You have to go on a waiting list.
Waiting lists and all this for houses. Like, there's nothing you can do worth that much money.
It's all new. It's just assets in general are just going up in value.
Assets are a lot harder to get and a lot of waiting lists, but this is one that you can just sort of which I guess kind of diversifies it to the rest of the brands.
100%.
To be fair, this obviously that when I watched that video was a while ago, so maybe today it might be a little bit more difficult, but from what I know, I think it is fairly easy.
Yeah, usually you'd think you need an inquiry, you need to
because they almost do it on purpose. Even if they've got it available, they kind of do it on purpose because they want you to feel like you're getting something exclusive,
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? They don't want it to feel...
Well, all brands have their own ways and methods,
of course. Yeah. But Jacob & Co.'s like big, obviously they're quite big with the jewellery as well, I believe. Like they do a lot of
custom pieces.
A lot of jewellery and stuff as well. So I think that's what he did
like
before.
Cartier pieces as well.
Yeah, I think they were big for jewellery before they were for watches. Don't quote me, but I think from what I know.
But it's like we said with Jacob & Co. We just said how you can just walk in and buy it, but that is also part of the reason why it doesn't really obtain its value at all.
Yeah.
Because the watches themselves aren't worth what they sell them for, really.
You could say that, but obviously the influence, like having partnerships with like people like Ronaldo, things like that, gives them a very, very big influence, regardless. Even if it's not selling for the price, it's just what people don't like. Do you know what I mean? Because your everyday average Joe isn't going to have 500k to spend on a Jacob & Co. But they've got 10k to spend on a Rolex.
What I'm saying is like even RMs and the really expensive Rolexes that are expensive retail prices, and even Pateks and stuff, that you can't just sort of walk in and get them and they obtain value.
Yeah,
because
you can walk in and get them at source time though. Just let us know. Get it sourced on time.
Yeah, of course.
Skip the waiting list.
But yeah, you can just they obtain their value. Whereas obviously with Jacob & Co.'s, you can get them easily, but then you're going to lose your money. So it shows that exclusivity keeps the money up, but obviously it's a different business model.
Yeah, it's a different business model because they're priced. Listen, the retail prices on some of the watches, like the Scarface one, is like it's like 2 million or something. Isn't it?
No, the Scarface it's like $300,000.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, $300,000, but it's still $300,000.
There's a titanium one.
Yeah,
which is slightly cheaper, and then there's a rose gold one as well.
They can't produce many of these models as well. It's not like Rolex where they could just mass produce all the pieces that go into the watch.
It's just like, completely different business model to say Rolex. You know, Rolex is like mass produce. Well, produce as many as they want, keep the demand high as possible. Watches with less margin in them, obviously, because they're much cheaper watches.
A good way to put it would be like Louis and Nike. Louis changed their season, and it's like completely different every time. But Nike, you can buy the same stuff over and over and over. Like always.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you could look at it like that. Yeah.
These watches are 49mm as well. The Scarface and Godfather Ultra ones.
Big watches.
So very big.
I feel like he just kind of does. He's just so creative and just does what he wants. Kind of. He doesn't really think and then just runs with it. Basically, he doesn't really. He's not like Rolex thinking, right, we're going to make watches that are like, for example, the Daytona, perfect wrist size for most people.
Crowd pleaser at all, is he?
Yeah.
No.
He's the shepherd, not the sheep.
Yeah. I think he's just trying to be. Yeah, he's just like trying to be unique in a way, you know, and people buy into it. So
because another one is the collaboration they've done with Fast and Furious, and we'll show you guys a watch now, and obviously we're going to put up on screen. This is it. If you want to pass that on to Fred and then pass it back. That's the Fast and Furious 9 watch. We're going to put it up on screen for you.
What family?
I want to ask you two a question.
F is for family.
See you can get closest.
Go on. What, in the retail?
Or no, on how many components are in the movement of that watch?
Let's say...
It's got to be... I don't know.
No money on the line this time, yeah?
I'll go first. 183.
183 is Fred's guess. Yourself?
I'm going to say like 1,000. I think there's going to be like loads because you've asked. I don't know.
What number are you going for?
1,000. I'll just say 1,000.
JP's closest. 832 components in the movement.
Jesus
alone
Christ.
On that.
Yeah, I thought it'd be high because...
Yeah, it is high.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which
That's
again,
ridiculous.
Going back to
obviously
RMV Jacob & Co.
Obviously JP wins again when we do the little questions as usual. You
know.
No,
you should have offered him some money on that one.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, Fred hasn't lost 50 quid this time at least.
Yeah. So we're off to a good start.
We're up more than that. But again, that shows when we're going back to RMV Jacob & Co. and the horology. Have RM got a watch made up of that many components? I don't know off the top of my head, but...
Most probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do, to be honest. Cause, but who knows? But yeah,
it'll be something we have to look into. Yeah, I mean that's most of the watches we sort of want to talk about that we see in films. Interestingly, actually, just as we close this section up, obviously, Scarface did on that collab with Jacob & Co. But Tony Montana does wear an Omega, La Magique. In Scarface.
La Magique.
Yeah, so...
I feel like Omega... I feel like that's
Omega
the thing with Omega. I feel like the thing with Omega is that they're not... they're not as sought after as...
They're like, understated,
They're understated, yeah, but it's still... They're very good watches, and
they have a lot
and they've got a lot...
I've only named here like 4 or 5 films which
they're very affordable as well.
But there was so many films that Omegas have been spotted in. Yeah. They obviously do focus a lot on...
getting themselves out there.
But it doesn't feel like it's really been reciprocated.